Today we're diving straight into some recent news that caught our eye. The passing of actress Lara Park Lincoln. She was 63.
Mm-hmm.
Our source for this deep dive is a report from The Independent.
Right.
And you might remember her from some pretty well-known roles, actually. Her life, well, it gives us a really interesting look at the different ways someone can make their mark in entertainment.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to explore her journey based on what this report lays out.
It's interesting how the news first came out. It was her company, Actors Audition Studios, that announced it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And the report mentions that, the specific cause of death hasn't been revealed, which is, well, pretty standard for these initial announcements.
True.
But what really jumped out at me was the immediate reaction online, just this outpouring from people.
Absolutely. Looking through the reactions mentioned in The Independent,
Yeah.
wow, it really gives you a sense of the impact she had.
Mm-hmm.
People saying how much she'll be missed. Someone talked about an acting seminar they took with her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a lot of appreciation for her role in Friday the 13th, Part 7. Sounds like she genuinely connected with fans of that series.
Right. And what's interesting there, it wasn't just like, oh, cool horror movie. One comment specifically highlighted her bringing real depth to that role.
That's fascinating. Depth in a Friday the 13th movie.
Exactly. It makes you think, doesn't it? How actors can leave that kind of impression, even in, genre films that maybe aren't always seen that way.
Yeah.
And then someone else mentioned her mentorship, her friendship, even mentioned her daughter. It shows her reach went, well, beyond just the screen.
Okay, let's maybe look a bit closer at some of those key roles. The report points out her time on Knots Landing. Big show.
Huge show. Long-running drama. Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, Knots Landing was massive. Network drama following all these families.
Mm-hmm. Interconnected lives, relationships.
And she played Linda Fairgate, and later a friend of Sally's character, alongside Michelle Lee, William Devane. Big TV names.
That really is a slice of television history right there.
It is.
And it shows her range, too,
Right.
Going from that kind of primetime soap, which needs a certain kind of sustained drama,
Yeah.
to then starring as Tina Shepard in Friday the 13th, Part 7, that's quite a shift.
Total shift. Horror lead.
Right. And maybe that kind of genre hopping wasn't quite as common back then. It suggests a real willingness to try different things. Good trait for an actor.
Definitely. And beyond those two big ones, the article also mentions a TV movie, Children of the Night, with Kathleen Quinlan, Mario Van Peebles.
Okay, another interesting credit.
Plus guest spots on shows like Beverly Hills, 90210, Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
It really paints a picture of a working actor consistently getting roles.
Those guest spots are often so important, aren't they? Even if they're smaller parts.
Yeah, building that career. And it notes her last screen appearance was pretty recent, actually. A 2022 film called Ghost Party, so she was still active.
Yeah, it shows that kind of diverse portfolio you often see. Different roles, different mediums. It all adds up to experience and visibility.
But here's where it gets maybe even more interesting. Her contributions went way beyond just acting.
Okay.
She founded Actors Audition Studios in Dallas, Texas.
Wow. Okay. Founding a studio, that's a significant move, a different kind of commitment to the craft.
Right. Suggests wanting to nurture new talent, not just perform.
And the fact she also wrote a book, Get Started, Not Scammed.
Yeah, I saw that mentioned.
Used specifically for actors, it just underlines that commitment to mentorship, sharing her own experience in a really practical way, like she saw a need, maybe.
Seems like it. And then, get this, she spent 19 years as a QVC celebrity guest host.
19 years on QVC.
19 years, that's a long time.
That's, a whole other side of things.
And she developed her own clothing line, too, the Piper Alexander collection. It shows this real entrepreneurial side connecting with a totally different audience.
It really does broaden the picture, doesn't it? It makes you think about what success means in that industry. It's not always just the blockbuster roles.
Clearly not. For her, it seems like it was this mix, performing, teaching, business.
Or blend, yeah. Performing, educating, entrepreneurship. Fascinating.
And then, just briefly on the personal side, the report touches on her family. She was married to Michael Martin Lincoln from '81 until he passed away in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
And they had 2 children, Piper and Trevor.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, there's always a private life behind the public face.
Absolutely. And the report mentions she's survived by her children, her brother, sister, and 4 grandchildren. It really highlights those personal connections that last.
So bringing this all together, what are the main takeaways from this report? Her company talked about her leaving an unforgettable mark on Hollywood
Yeah.
and dedicating 45 years to mentoring actors. That's quite a statement.
It really is. And those fan reactions we talked about earlier, they really back that up. That comment about real depth in a horror role,
Good.
that speaks volumes about her ability as an actor. And the other quote about her training and friendship, that shows the personal impact. It reminds you of others who've successfully moved into mentoring because they know the ropes firsthand.
Okay, so to sort of wrap up, based on this independent report, Lar Park Lincoln's career was clearly, well, multifaceted.
Right.
Not just roles in popular shows and films,
Oh, definitely more.
but also an entrepreneur, an author, a mentor, a mother.
Yeah, a really diverse legacy. Which leaves us with a final thought for you listening.
Okay.
When you consider this really varied career path she took, from network drama to iconic horror to QVC to mentoring, what does that suggest about all the different ways you can find creative expression and make an impact, not just in entertainment, but maybe even beyond that?